This video goes with the IXL units U3, U4, U5, and U8. And I'm going to give an example of each one. We'll start with U3. The directions say write an equation that says the length of the red line is equal to the length of the black line, and you must combine like terms. So when I look at this picture, it looks like the length of my red line is 50, so I want 50 to equal the length of the black line. When I look at the black line, I see V plus 14. Well, I can combine the two V's to make 2V plus 14. That would be the length of the black line, and I think I have my equation. So I would put it in as 50 equals 2V plus 14. It really doesn't matter the way that the students approach this problem. They might have taken the black line first and said, well, 2V plus 14 equals the red line, which would be 50, and I could submit my answer that way. So really, order doesn't matter how I put it in. You know, the black line first or the red line, as long as I get the two to equal each other. When I look at an example for U4, these are all one-step equations. Here I have 2 equals some number V divided by 2. And remember, we've been working on this in all the classes, putting a dotted line down here and trying to get the variable all by itself. So I'm not going to change that method. Here I want to get V all by itself, so I'm asking myself, well, how do I get rid of that 2 that's on the bottom? Well, what's the opposite of dividing by 2? I would multiply by 2 on both sides. Remember, in mathematics, we can cross-cancel before we multiply fractions, so 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 2 once, and now I have V over 1, and of course V over 1 is just V. When I multiply the other side here, what's a positive 2 times a positive 2? Well, it would be a positive 4. Remember, if I replace V with 4 in the original equation, this makes sense. In fact, I think I'll do it over here. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Our next example comes off of 2-step equations. The example that I have here is 4 plus 2y. All of this equals 6. Once again, I'm going to use the same method we've been talking on in class. I'm going to go ahead and put a dotted line right down the equal sign. Remember, I want to get y all by itself. So when I think about this, I need to get rid of 2 things. The positive 4 and the positive 2 coefficient of y. Let's do the positive 4 first. The opposite of a positive 4 is a negative 4. I'm going to do that on both sides of my equation. I'm going to do my sum line. Positive 4, negative 4 go away. I do have a positive 2y and nothing, which is a positive 2y. Positive 6 and a negative 4 put together is a positive 2. Remember, my last step is to get y all by itself. It would be the opposite of multiplying by 2, which would be divide by 2. Let's do that on both sides. So what does y need to equal? It needs to equal 1. And my last example would be off of Q8 or U8. Now here I have quite a lengthy problem. I have a negative 10d minus a negative 3d minus a negative 13d, and all of this equals 18. And of course, the first thing I want to do, I'm not going to change what I'm doing here. I'm going to go ahead and put my dotted line down here and just see if I can figure this out. It looks to me like I can put a lot of things together. I can put a negative 10d, and this term right here, and this term right here. But before I do that, I think I'm going to get rid of double signs. So this negative 3d and this negative 13d. Let's see if we can get rid of those double signs. Still going to leave my negative 10d to start the expression. But a negative times a negative in that circle makes a positive 3d. And a negative times a negative makes a positive 13d. And then, of course, all of this is going to equal 18. And remember, now I can combine these like terms. They're all the same. Negative 10d and a positive 3d and a positive 13d. When I put all of that together, I'm ending up with a positive 6d. All of this equals 18, and then it becomes a pretty easy equation. Divide by 6, divide by 6, and what does d equal? D equals 3. Hopefully this will help students with these units. Remember, the IXL U4, U5, U8, and U3.